itself it's gonna be broken down into 3 stages. The first stage, we're gonna create that lovely curry base. Then we're gonna put in the lobster, and I have the lobster already cleaned here. And one thing I must mention, I cracked the claws because I want that curry sauce to get in there. Now, the third step is adding pre-boiled, pre-cooked potato to it, because if we add the raw potato to here, it's going to overcook things. We don't want to overcook anything. So with that in mind, in goes onions, and that's some finely diced onion, a medium onion. The recipe itself will be available at caribbeanpot.com within the next day or two. I'm just going to turn my heat down to low because I don't want to burn the onion nor the garlic that I'm adding in there. Just gonna give that a move around like so. Yeah, it looks like a lot of oil in there. Unfortunately, it does take a bit of oil. If you use a non-stick pan, you can get away with using less oil. I'm gonna go in with some cumin seeds in there and what we call jira in the Caribbean. Keep moving that around. I'm gonna go in with some black pepper in there. Move that around as well. And on that low heat, we just want to soften up everything here. Release the flavors from that jira or cumin seeds, the garlic, the onion, and everything else. So we're gonna keep it on a low heat. I want it a little bit spicy, so I'm going in with that's a green Scotch bonnet pepper. The flavor profile on that will be totally different. It is not as severe when it comes to heat, but it's going to give it a lovely flavor. Now, I will also add a whole Scotch bonnet pepper. I won't break that one, but later on when I'm eating, I will break it. But for now, we're just going to continue sweating this thing down. Caribbean green seasoning, and that is just a puree or a blend of all the herbs along with garlic and seasoning peppers and all those things we like using in our dishes, and that gives it that unique Caribbean je ne sais quoi. Telling you, boy. Did that, another thick stir, and at this point we're gonna add our curry powder. And my heat is still on low, and this is why I needed all of that vegetable oil at the start, because I want to sort of fry toast all the spices which makes up a good curry powder. So on that low heat, yeah, we're continuing with the low heat. We don't want to burn the curry. Burnt curry, yo, that flavor, that taste is, in my humble opinion, one of the most offensive things you can ever eat. Burnt curry? No, we don't burn curry, people. Stop using that word association with curry. We do not burn it. It's been about 4 minutes. What I'm going to do now is turn up my heat to medium high just to raise the temperature a bit, because we're going to add water in here now to create a sort of a slurry. Because we cooked out the rawness of the curry, we bloomed the spices which makes up that curry powder. Now we gotta create that sauce, because remember, we gotta sort of poach the lobster in here, but not for long. And then we gotta add that pre-cooked, pre-boiled potato. Remember to boil the potato in salted water. I'm not sure if I mentioned that already. You will need a bit more water than that, so I'm just gonna stir in some more water. I'm actually gonna put just a little bit more water in there. It's then time to add the lobster, and that lobster has been cut up into pieces. The head, of course, I tossed out, but you can see the tiny little legs, and I left the shell on everything. There's that lobster meat in there. And the reason for leaving all that shell and everything in there, simple. There is a lot of flavor in those shells. Now, I have a different version of this curry lobster I'd love to be able to share with you all. And what in that recipe, what I do is I remove all the shell, well, most of the shell, and I create a sort of a deep, rich lobster stock. So instead of adding water in there, we would have added the stock in there. If you're interested in that video, drop a comment down below and I'll try my best to get to it. Now remember, I said we cracked the claws because I want to tuck that down and let it pull out some of that lovely lobster flavor. The whole idea here is to really enhance the flavor of the sort of gravy or the sauce there, because pretty soon in a couple of minutes we're going to add the potato, the pre-cooked potato in there. And before I forget, I'm going to tuck in that Scotch bonnet, a small Scotch bonnet pepper, but that thing is fiery, but no heat is going to come out from it. We already started with that green Scotch bonnet pepper. Later on when I'm eating, I'm going to pop that and boom, flavors. I'm telling you, boy. At this point, it's time for salt. Keep in mind, you would have salted the potato when you were boiling them. Just got to be mindful here of the handle. This is a cast iron pan, which means the heat transfers all the way to the handle here. So I'm not got to be smart about it. I'm just going to tuck all the pieces in, and here is where we're going to introduce the pre-boiled potato, because like I said, if you cook the potato in here, it's going to take too long to cook. The lobster is going to overcook. And yo, if you wanted to add a bit of coconut milk, by all means rub that coconut milk. I am not a fan of coconut curry, so I'm on no, not today, sir. Move that around. We just want to tuck the potato to soak up some of that lovely curry gravy down in the bottom down there. And if you wanted, you can crush the potato and you'll get a nice thick gravy at the end here. Now remember, we're not cooking this for much longer, so we really want, I'm going to spoon some of the gravy that we have on the bottom there onto the potato. How you finish this up is totally up to you. I like to go in, and I still have some parsley straight out of the garden there. If you wanted to use shadow benny, if you wanted to use cilantro, it's totally up to you. I'm just going to turn my stove off. The residual heat in this cast iron pan will finish things off nicely for me. As I said, if you wanted to crush some of the potato, yo, go ahead and do that. I'm on ain't stopping here. You get a nice thick gravy. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me. Email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pot. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. A lovely curry lobster with potato. You gotta love this one, yeah? Give it a try. Irie.